What is up, guys? JD here with another Everyday Carry video for you. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different but kind of the same. We're going to be doing another knife mod, and as you can see, I have my steel wheel Cutjack, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a acid stone wash on this bad boy. A little hard to do this one-handed, sorry guys. So let me take you through some of what we're going to be using today. We are going to be using some ferric chloride. We have our mason jar to put our chloride in. We have some fingernail polish to protect the pivot points on the knife. And we have some personal protection gear directly behind there. Some gloves and goggles are back there. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's get to taking our steel wheel Cutjack down so that we can get it rigged up for our acid wash. All right. Make sure you set that aside somewhere where you don't have to worry about losing your hardware. I think the trickiest part is actually going to be trying to figure out how to do the hardware to match. And hopefully by the time I get to the wash, we'll have figured that out. Yeah, let's put that blade out so that the detent isn't causing the blade to pop off. All right. Make sure you set everything aside so you don't lose it. All right. The reason I'm doing it right there is because that's where your liner lock hits, and you just don't want that to be damaged and come loose in any way, shape, or form. And then the last part I do is right here where the detent goes, and that's just to keep it from coming loose. So let that dry, give that a good amount of time to dry, and then we'll come back. All right, so we're back, and we have the acid stored in a plastic container. And what we're going to be using are zip ties and a little pencil to put over the lid. So you don't need to go crazy here because it is kind of a pain to get off, but that's all we're going to do. So let me get everything set up and we'll be right back. All right, so what I decided to do is kind of use the clip as my baseline. So we'll go ahead and get everything set up here. And then we'll get the timer going. And if I calculated right, that should be right at the back.
A few moments later. Much later. Much later. Much later.
All right, we are right at 11 minutes. And it's probably in reality more like 10 minutes because I took it out briefly to have a look at the color. And the problem with taking it out and trying to judge it with everything still coated on it is it's really hard to get a sense, if that one little drop will come off, of how dark it really looks. So I'm just gonna give it a quick wipe down and try to see if it's dark as I'd like to have it. You just have to be careful with your blade because you don't want it to get to the point where it's gonna ruin it. All right, so let's see. Yeah, that's looking good. So for some context, you can see it's pretty dark. Well, now that I'm seeing it dried off a little bit more, I'm wondering if I should just give it a little bit longer. So that was 10 minutes. We might give it a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes. All right. Just a few more minutes. All right. We'll be back in another 2 minutes.
The following Thursday.
All right, guys. We are right back at 13 minutes. Let's what we're dealing with. I think 13 minutes is good. All right, so back from the sink. I think it looks good, especially when you take into comparison where we started. So the next thing I need to do is get the nail polish off and then stone wash it. So we'll be right back. We're gonna do some stone washing and hopefully everything comes out looking good. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are done with the acid wash and the stone wash on the blade. And you can see where I put the fingernail polish. It's very clear. Well, that's very shiny. Very clear where we started and where we ended up. I have not done the bolts just yet, but I did go ahead and acid wash the clip. So the next thing I'll need to do is stone wash, and the reason our little Spyderco friend's out here is because I did a stone wash yesterday and it wasn't quite flat enough for me. There's still a lot of shine going, so I wanted to give it another run in there. The uncoated responded really well to the stone wash. I think that looks really cool, really weathered. So I am going to finish the clip, hardware, which I still have to figure out the best way to do that, and we'll be back. What is up, guys? Welcome back. I just finished doing the mod for my steel wheel Cutjack. Today I did the acid and stone wash to darken up and make the knife look a little bit more worn and to give it a little bit more personality. I think it came out really nice, especially the stone wash. I ended up doing the acid wash for about 16 minutes, and that's because I did want to get it pretty dark. I like the darker look. I think it looks really nice, especially on the OD green. And the fact that there probably isn't anything else out there like this makes it kind of unique to me. After I did the acid wash for about 16 minutes, I ended up doing the stone wash for 10. And your mileage may vary, so you're gonna wanna check this every 5 minutes at least. It was a light gray after about 6-7 minutes, something close to that, just to give you guys some context. And I wanted to go darker. I think the darker looks really good. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this project yourself. Keep an eye on it, check it every so often to see, you know, how dark is it and how dark do you want to go. The stone wash, I did the same thing. I kept checking it every 3 minutes. I had to clean it off to really get a good sense of like how much into the blade and how much shiny metal you were going to start to see again. So I ended up probably about 12 minutes total for the stone wash, and I don't know if I'd do it that long again. It got it really close to where you can see a lot of metal. We'll see how that goes. If I'm unhappy with it, I may just dip it back in the acid for 2 minutes, clean it, and then do a little bit of a lighter stoning to it. But I'm really happy with the way that it came out. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description below with everything that I used. I did end up having to go to Harbor Freight to pick up a little bit more of the media for the tumbler, for the vibratory. And that's because what I had ordered on Amazon didn't fill up enough of the bottom, but I kind of mixed it all together. So I'll make sure and get a little video insert of that so you can see all of that in the video. While you're down there, if you enjoyed the content, if you can leave a like, subscribe. I'm going to be doing different mods and other mods on the channel in the future and continue to review other products. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks. Have a good day.